You are now tuned in to Two Studs in a Pod with the dynamic duo of Blaze and Meech, a podcast giving you a candid glimpse into the world of super terrific Uber dykes, but you can call us studs. This week, we're breaking down gender roles in the LGBTQ plus community, what part the hetero community plays in these designations, and the tasks usually attached to the role of studs, whether we want them or not. Now let's get into it. Meech, drop the beat. Welcome back to Two Studs in a Pod, beautiful people. You already know, it's Blaze.
And the homie Meech.
This week, we're tackling the topic of gender roles. But before we get into all that, Meech, why don't you tell the listeners how the universe has been blessing you this week?
The universe has been real good to me. Closed on the house.
All right.
Yes. So y'all don't have to worry about hearing about that anymore.
The packing is done.
Had a couple beautiful days out here in New York. You know, almost felt like a Florida winter.
Oh, really?
And just the usual, catching up on some podcasts, reading some books. I finished the Seat of the Soul. I picked up what is it called? The 10 minutes of happiness or something like that. I can't remember. And I actually picked up the Dixon Donuts book, but that was a little difficult to get through. So I don't know if it was the uploading it to a PDF version or the web version, but it was just too hard. There was a lot of errors and stuff. So I tried to give it a chance, but I might have to ask Amazon for a refund.
Damn. Yeah, it is a little rough to get through some of those typos, but I haven't been able to make my way through that at all. But congratulations on closing on the house. I know that's probably finally, right? Like,
yes, it's a whole weight and a half off my shoulders.
Yes, I'm glad to be done with that. Well, as for me, my week has been pretty good, easy going. I finally went on my vacation on my on my cruise, so you guys won't have to hear about that anymore. So for maybe how awesome it was. Definitely had a good time with the wifey. Had a slight situation though when we got on the boat. I was missing a very important piece of luggage. And of course, it was the last one of our bags to be brought up to our floor. And the crazy thing is I packed away my special friend and protection in a roll-on because I thought I was gonna take it with me. I didn't put it in my book bag because I had all the snacks and stuff in my book bag, and so I thought I was gonna take this with me because that's what we did the last time. But wifey had other plans, so what we did was check most of our stuff because once you get on the first thing when you get on the boat, you either have to take it all with you for a few hours because your room's not ready as soon as you get on the boat, or you have to have them check it. So she was like, oh, she doesn't want to be carrying around all this stuff at the last minute. So we ended up checking it. And in this bag, I had like my important sneakers and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I thought I was going to be keeping it with me. My Yeezys were in there, brand new.
Bro.
Yes. Brand new Royal Ones were tucked away in there. And I was just ready to keep them with me. So to let them go, that was a little nerve wracking. But I did find it. I mean, I was going up and down that hallway looking for this bag. I'm like, of all the bags, why is this the one bag I can't find? So up and down, up and down. I was getting nervous, and she was laughing at me. I'm like, but this bag is very important. Okay, it has like all the good stuff in it. So, but other than that, I mean, the cruise was awesome. We got lit, and we realized that we're day drinkers now. We can't be doing that party all night stuff. That stuff that was for the birds.
Day drinking is fun.
Yes. We drank too much during the day to even try to stay up for some of the nights. Yeah.
You know you hit that
age. Like we're getting old. And we were safe from the coronavirus because we brought our own Lysol and all that good stuff with us, down to toilet paper. So Yes, very good time. And now the cruise is done and on to the next thing. Still trying to keep working out and get back into work. Because you know what happens after you go on vacation when you come back those first couple of days, the emails are like ridiculous. Yeah. But as an added bonus this week, we're welcoming in a special guest to the podcast. And Meech, I'm gonna hand this intro off to you.
Ladies and gentle boys,
Ah,
on this week's episode of Two Studs in a Pod, I'd like to introduce you to my favorite, not so crazy girlfriend, Edie. Edie, say what's up to the people.
Hi, podcast people.
hey.
Hey.
That's the podcast people. That's the podcast people say, hey. Welcome, Edie, to the podcast. Obviously, another special guest that has decided to join us here in Two Studs World. Well, before we get into our gender specific roles, let's get a foundation on what gender technically is. According to Webster Dictionary, refers to either of the two sexes when considered in combination with the cultural and social differences that they have, not so much being their biological uh, gender. Nowadays, is also commonly known as a social construct. At least that's what I hear the young kids calling it these days, a social construct, since it's basically an understanding of what males and females are supposed to be and not what we are now seeing everybody as more of a, or a lot of people have more of a fluid situation going on, maybe not so black and white as it has once been described. I don't know, Edie, Meech, what is your understanding of gender as it pertains to like different roles?
Tell them how you really feel.
First of all, no, I don't agree with gender roles. Like, why should there have to be gender roles within our community? I know that it's always been, somebody should be seen as like the male or the masculine version, and then there needs to be a more feminine visual, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not all like that. So I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think anybody should fall into a particular box.
I think it's just been like that since the beginning of time. And I get that, there are, I guess, expectations, or it's just what people know,
Mm-hmm.
to a male to do certain things and a female to do certain things. But I know men that, don't do things. Like I know men that are scared of spiders, and I know men that cook and
Right.
clean, So I don't really care for gender roles. I feel like nowadays everybody does everything. I don't think you should be put into a box.
I agree, especially like when it comes to the LGBTQ plus and everything else community, especially since a lot of people in our community believe that it is a spectrum and that they don't fall into one specific like you say box, or one specific role per se, and that there still are gender roles within the community, whether we want to accept them or not. I think because it is so ingrained in us from, like you said, the beginning of time, that it kind of is, because you do have like the mask femme role, especially when you have a stud and a femme, or a butch and a femme, or um or and then you have the femme what, they're both femme, so they both have, I guess you would say, similar or the same gender roles. But how does that break down when you're in a femme and femme relationship? Because like, like we would think like a mask and femme, the mask is going to, like you say, kill the spiders.
Right.
So who in the femme relationship, who's killing the spider? you know
Right. I know like femme women who've tried to date feminine women and they just can't do it. They're like, they have to share the bathroom, and
mm.
there's really
That's just being selfish.
they both gotta wait to put on their makeup and things like that.
So
But
you get a double vanity.
I guess, I mean, if you have you ever dated a feminine woman?
No, I don't want to.
Why?
Because I'm not sharing my clothes. I'm being
Exactly.
selfish though. But that's just being selfish. I don't think that qualifies. I think it's just in who you want to be with. But I think when what can you say when it's too masculine looking females get together? What do you do then? Like, who's wearing the extra pants?
Right.
See, but
and who's the one that has to take out the garbage in that case?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Who's
Like,
the one that's cooking and who's the
Right.
one that's
right,
But
but
yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing.
but it makes me wonder too when I see like gender roles, especially in our community. Like, why do we feel the need to place ourselves or conform to those roles that we've seen used typically with heterosexuals and heteronormative roles in the community? Yes, understanding that we grew up and we seen them, but we are still gay. We're still our own people, and we strive to not exactly be like them, but it feels like maybe we not in a us versus they, but we're just different. We are different. Our roles are different. It's not what's normal for them isn't normal for us. And but why do we strive to create that normalcy or that feeling of normalcy? Because even with mask relationships and even with guys, there is sometimes they may look the same, but they're one of them is more dominant, I guess.
I think it just goes back to it always being a taboo thing. I think it's just so stuck with us because our older generation um, just wanted to be accepted. So I think by showing, the masculine role and feminine role was just probably easier for other people to kind of accept it or
Right,
or
like make it seem
maybe
real.
maybe understand it better. So and I
Yeah.
think it just unfortunately stuck. So now that's what people look for. That's what people expect for us to look like.
Good perspective, babe.
Do you think that like I from my observation, at least how I feel, I'm just wondering how you guys feel about it. Do you think that like stud femme or like a mask femme type of relationship is more apt to follow gender roles or the normal gender roles when we think of them? As far as mask femme versus mask or a femme relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we even talked about it on the first episode. Like, it's just we do what we're used to or what we've seen growing up that masculine presenting people do. Like men, our dads or
Mm-hmm.
other men in our lives, just in general. So we do. We take out the garbage. When we're at a restaurant, they do bring us the bill. So. You know what I mean? Like we dress more masculine, so it's just easier to take it on that way. But not, like I still cook. Like I was raised, my mama raised me to cook and clean. Like it doesn't take away from the things that I learned, just growing up. Like I'm not, maybe some women don't cook, but there are still some men that do cook. Like my uncle was the chef in the house. So I don't know. I just think it's easier, yeah, because you have a stud and a femme, and then the stud usually tends to be the one putting things together and
Mm-hmm.
going to get the car washed or washing the car and doing stuff like that, putting gas in the car, whatever it is. And then the femme is usually the one that's cooking or taking care of the kids, or for the most part,
Getting my nails done.
yeah, getting their nails done. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. I do get manicures and pedicures.
That's I'm like I can understand that. Like I think our generation maybe more so than like even our parents' generation has blurred the lines of gender roles even more so because like you said, like I go and I like to get my pedicure and a manicure. I mean, I don't necessarily want my toes painted or I'm not getting gel or acrylics or I don't even know if those are the same things, but I'm just saying like doing that. But I do like, especially like before a big event or something like that. Like I want to get done up like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't paint it my nails. That's all.
Yeah. Just want to make sure they clean and they.
Right. And even more so, like not even just amongst LGBTQ plus community, even straight people. Like my homeboy, him and his wife, they have 2 kids, and he feeds his kids. He bathes his kids. Like things that maybe his father. I mean, he told me before that like he told his dad like I need to hang up with you because I need to go give my daughter a bath. And his dad was like, "What do you mean? Like that's your wife's job, basically?" And he's like, "No, bro, like this is my kid and I want to go take care of my responsibility. It's not only her job, like she works too, like we both work and these are our kids. So it's my turn to give the bath." And to his dad, that was mind-boggling, but to him, like that gender role of the mom being the one to take care of the kids in that manner just was like not, he was like, "I don't see it like that. These are our kids." So I think in that respect, it's just our generation is blurring gender roles at the same time.
I think our generation is um, not necessarily softer. I don't think that's a good word, but we are definitely more open with our feelings, and where we tend to help me with the words. We tend to be more open,
Be more vocal, maybe, and
be more
express
open, be
ourselves.
more loving. Like, the now is the thing, like it's okay for a man to cry, like men cry, or it's okay to show that you love
Show
somebody
emotion,
by
right.
saying that you love them, giving them a hug. And I think our generation is really trying to like break that notion that, only the masculine role is supposed to play a certain role and the female role is supposed to only play a certain role. Like I think we and everybody after us are kind of breaking that cycle,
Yeah.
so that it's not like that anymore. Because there's definitely, I mean, I was kind of raised to be, since I'm the oldest, take out the trash, clean up, and do this and do that. Yeah, I was taught how to cook and clean and take after siblings, but at the same time, I was also raised to take care of myself.
Right.
Right.
Be more independent.
Right.
Right.
Women, I guess, aren't so much being raised to get married and have a man take care of you,
Right.
but being raised to be more independent. And I think that that's just natural in a lesbian relationship. No, that's not natural. Because now that I think about it, there are some femmes that just want to be taken care of.
There
But,
are. I mean, yeah. But that's a given, though.
I still feel like,
And
there
there's
are some out there that
But there's some
can do
studs
everything.
that want to be taken care of too. That
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I just don't. I don't understand that, and I think, like where I find myself being stuck in a gender role is like, the man making more, like working always and making the money and being like that. Like I find myself struggling with that, not in my own relationship, but just like family connections and their situations.
No, I'm trying to
and things
find a
like
sugar
that.
mama.
But but it's easy to get stuck in like what you think a person should be based off of their gender, and we're learning that masculinity doesn't mean, like you said, like it's okay for a masculine person, whether a stud or a man, to cry. Like studs, especially if they're hyper masculine for whatever reason, feel like they not supposed to cry, just like you tell a dude that he's not supposed to cry, butch up and things like that. Like these are
Like,
things
what?
that we've heard, right? Like you're
that's
not
a word.
supposed to.
People do that.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious to know if any of our listeners are in a stud for stud or a masculine relationship, if the gender roles matter or if they change or if
Or
that's a
how blurred
thing.
are they? Right.
Yeah, like
Too.
is it delegated? Like you cook, I clean this week, or like
Yeah.
how does that work? I mean, I've heard from my feminine friends about trying, but I don't really know any masculine for masculine females out there.
Not at least not of color. I've known several not of color ones.
Yeah, it's true. You see that in other cultures, I guess, a little bit
Right. It
more
seems
than.
like they're more, I guess, more gender non-conforming people than so they definitely wouldn't have a gender role aspect to their relationship. At least I wouldn't think so. Would you? Like
Mhm.
people who are gender non-conforming, like they don't feel like they're either one or the other, then in their house it really doesn't matter who takes out the garbage or who plunges the toilet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I don't want to share my basketball shorts and shit. Like you said, you don't want to share your clothes.
Right. Even
Nah,
though I
those
did
are my
have this one
J's.
girlfriend one time that she loved to wear my basketball shorts, and she was feminine, of course, obviously, but she loved to wear my basketball shorts, and I that was only slightly annoying because
Yeah.
you go
It's
through
kind
them
of like
faster
when they
that
take our
way.
hoodies. Like they
First of
take our
all,
clothes in
the hoodies
general.
are comfortable. We need those.
Well, the hoodie thing is just like that's a never ending situation.
Mhm.
And then you
That's what
walking out the
I
house looking crazy in my large basketball shorts.
But
Like,
I'm more.
yeah.
where are you going?
You're definitely not going to play ball. Okay. I don't know. I mean, and roles are just funny. It's similar to like what we were talking about last time about labels, and like they end up putting you in a box that you don't necessarily want to be in or feel like you fit in at all, or at least completely. And that's part of the problem with gender roles, especially when you're a stud, because then you get delegated to doing certain tasks, like having to, you are the one to take out the garbage, or the bill does automatically come to you, like we said several times. And that urge to want to carry all the groceries in on one trip is definitely is definitely there.
Show your strength.
Yes. So that's part of the. I guess that's part of the role. But role is also, I don't know. It seems to me like you're playing a role instead of maybe like being yourself. I don't know if you've ever felt like that when they use the term like role or gender role.
Um, I've just always been myself because I've always done like both, like masculine things, and like I said, I grew up cooking. Like I grew up in a West Indian household; everybody had to cook.
Right.
So
Right.
I grew up cooking, and like I like clean, like I like cleanliness, so I clean. I know how to do laundry. Like those things, I don't feel like are specific to a role.
Mm.
And then, me just wanting to work on cars and stuff was just because I was interested in it. Like I didn't do it because I felt like it was a masculine thing, you
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
So
Like I don't know that I'm gender non-conforming or gender conforming. If you look at like the official uh,
right.
definitions of each of those things, because there are certain things about me that you would say are more feminine, and then other things that are just inherently more masculine about me that I can't do anything about that, because I'm, like you said, I'm just being myself. And if that's a little more masculine than, or a little more feminine, like even wifey, she gets on me sometimes and likes to poke fun of me about some of the things. She's like, "You're the most girly boy I know."
I get that over here too.
I'm like, but I can't. I'm still a woman. You know what I'm saying? So those
Right.
things that are inherent about being a woman, I still am those things too. I always just like to think of myself as the best of both worlds. So
Right. But I think that there are some women, and I think maybe you could speak to that, that really just don't have any feminine qualities to them. Right?
Are you talking about me?
No. I'm
oh
talking
damn.
about like your exes.
Oh, the others. Yes, well, the others, yeah, especially the last one. She was definitely on that. I am like the masculine person in the relationship. I am gonna take care of house. I am gonna do this and do that. And she definitely played that I'm the man in the relationship role to the max, like, over the top. And I think for me, where we kind of clash is it was kind of overbearing. And the times that I needed her to like just back and let me handle certain situations, she just wouldn't, because she just had to be the one to have that kind of control over it per se. So we definitely clashed at certain points on certain things with that. She was definitely not girly in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. She was, we had our moments, but either way, she's still an ex. It just didn't work. It really just didn't work.
But then, like, in that, I mean, I can't speak on it because I don't really know the situation, but in that aspect of it, I feel like then maybe the person is playing a role.
Right.
They're not just being themselves, you know?
Right. And I wonder how much like culture has to do with playing a role, because certain cultures, like specifically Latin, are like their men are even hyper masculine, or at least known to be, throughout this time. And speaking of someone who had a Latin father, I know like the hyper masculinity that that can live inside of them. And like in island men too, like something about the Caribbean, and God help you if they're short, then you got another problem. But but so I wonder if culturally, even within us as studs, like if you feel because of like you're a Latin stud, and so now you're more masculine, are you going to be even more hyper masculine because it's just something that is, part of your culture? You really possibly have seen that throughout your life and expressed in that way, or that role played in that way. So you feel like that's how you're supposed to play that role versus just being yourself.
No, I definitely think so. I think it's just in general for us that it's definitely a stigma. Like it has to be known, like who plays what role. Like even in lesbian community, yeah, you see the feminine, like femme relationships, but it's 80% stud and femme. Like there has to be somebody playing that role, and I know that not everybody thinks that way. It's just what we all kind of fall into,
Right.
in a sense. But I know I personally have not seen two Hispanic studs together. Never. I've never seen it.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've seen any studs together other than when I Googled it.
But I think in general that's still a stigma within the minority community.
Right.
Because I've had conversations before with, my other friends and things like that. And their main reason is, I'm a stud. What do I look like dating another stud? I need a female. But hello. There's a female over there too, but it's just the roles are overhyped. And I think that's where the walls kind of clash.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than just the roles though, because like I said, like I'm attracted to a feminine woman, like the way she dresses, the way she does her hair, like the way, she carries herself, and like that's what I'm attracted to. Like I'm not attracted to somebody that looks like me.
Right. No matter what, like, yeah, like I felt like even if she dressed feminine, but her role within the relationship was more masculine, with the understanding of what we've grown to know as being masculine, like she makes more money, or she makes like most of the decisions within the relationship, um things of that nature, where we would normally think like that would be the man, right, or the masculine person in a relationship, even if she is feminine and she does wear heels and she does this, like wear makeup and get her hair did, and get acrylics or gels or whatever you call it, and those type of things. Then I think that's the thing, like to be attracted to a person, uh, if she's feminine, no matter what her role may be, depending on whether it's masculine or feminine. But At least to me, that's how I would
Yeah, I
feel.
mean, I guess it makes sense.
Because you, like you said, like you would cook and clean, but that's not. I don't remember what I was gonna.
Walking around the house like looking like Lucy,
Yeah.
in like a fucking house dress or something, with my little duster walking around.
That's what kids are for. You
Yeah,
give them the
Yeah.
exactly.
That's why you got to try not to get caught up in roles. Like I even find myself doing that. Like I'm like, why am I vacuuming? Why am I doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the stud, but this is our shit. You know, it's not just her shit or my shit. This is our shit. So we should keep it together. You know, like who doesn't matter whether that she wears heels, so that means she got to cook every night because she wears heels and I wear pants. I don't want them to bring me the bill every time because I'm wearing pants, but she can cook every night because she's wearing heels, right? So that's the thing about roles is they work both ways.
Yeah.
It's time for Too Many Peas in the Pod, the portion of the podcast where we share and answer some of the questions and comments we've received from our listeners. Now let's get into it. Our question today comes from Carissa. Her question is, I've been in an on again, off again relationship with this stud for over 3.5 years. Every time we've broken up, it's because I feel like she pushes me away. But honestly, I never really wanted to break up. Even though I felt like that I've tried to just fall back every time, and as soon as I do, she pops back up into my life. She'll call repeatedly until I give in. We end up spending time again, and I find myself falling back in love all over again. Recently, she asked me to come spend the night with her. I told her I would because I still love her, and told her I wanted to work it out between us so that we could be together. When we talk about it on the phone, she seems ready. But then when time comes, she is real hesitant to let go of our past issues and whatever else she has going on. She says she's not into anyone or sexting with anyone else, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
think you should take a nap. Better go take a nap by yourself. It just sounds like I think there are more. There's obviously more to the story than we got, but just by what I've heard, I think there should honestly be a break between her and the other person, and then you need some time to heal. People really do need time for yourself. You got to be selfish. Be selfish with yourself and give yourself that time to heal, because you can't. This emotional roller coaster is not healthy. It's
Right?
not
3.5
healthy
years?
for either person. It's not healthy. So sometimes somebody got to put their foot down and just really tell the person no. You know, why am I going to keep playing games with somebody that does not want to be with me? If we end it for a reason, it needs to be done. Go find yourself somewhere else, and I'm going to go find myself in my place and be done with it.
Are you finished or are you done?
I don't know. To me, it sounds like the stud is playing games. If I was shorty, I would just be done, move on, focus on myself, and if it's meant to be, y'all will find your way back to each other. But after 3.5 years, like, you know, you know that you didn't want this, or else you wouldn't have broke up with me, and then you only want to come around, like it just doesn't sound right. It sounds like
she only comes back when she broke up with
right,
the other person.
yeah,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it sounds a little fishy, like and very convenient.
yeah. Like you're the one. She knows you're always gonna be there, so she's always gonna come back to you whenever she's feeling froggy. Like I think that you should move on, and I think you should focus on yourself. And once you take care of yourself, then you'll find somebody who really wants to be with you and is willing to, dedicate themselves to the relationship and work on it together, not play games.
And I must say that I agree with you both, especially after 3.5 years and the on again, off again thing. Like that roller coaster crap, that shit is no fun for you specifically. Like you don't know what kind of fun she's having on the other side of her her roller coaster, because she's the one who keeps being okay and pushing you away, or seemingly pushing you away. And then, when whatever goes bad, what she has going on, now she's ready to come back. And, time is our most valuable asset on this earth. So you're just giving your time away to this stud that doesn't appear to deserve it, especially if she's not willing to, put the time and effort in that you're so willing to give her repeatedly, again and again. And who's to say she's not into someone or not sexting anybody? I mean, there's just too much that anybody can get into and be lying about to trust them. I mean, people still getting catfished in 2020. Okay.
Just tell them you got the coronavirus and you can't come over.
But for real, like, you need to, you're gonna have to find another plan, shorty. You really need to move on from this situation, and we hope you find the strength and the courage to move on and make your way into happier times and leave this stud alone. I mean, I don't want to be a hater, but you got to protect yourself, protect your neck. And on that note, you already know, if you need a little more stud in your life, you can find us on IG and Twitter at 2studsinaPod. That's where you'll find some of our stud-related content. Please feel free to send us any and all feedback you have on the podcast or future topic ideas you would like us to cover. If you have any questions or comments for us, you can slide in the DMs or shoot us an email at 2studsinapod@gmail.com. That's TWO studsinapod@gmail.com. Please note that we may select your question or comment to share on an upcoming episode. You can find Two Studs in a Pod on podcast platforms everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. And with that, we say that gratitude is always the attitude. So we want to say thank you for lending us your ear.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.